Talo falava, malo lava soifo malangi mama. You're back on Breaking Waves with your humble host Hana. We are here in the beautiful island of Samoa. I decided to take a humble trip back and serve our people here in the nation. But on today's show, I'm joined with a special guest, Adel Fruean, who is the Samoan correspondent for ABC Pacific. For the last week, she has been covering a lot of the Commonwealth head of government meetings, and she's been engaging with a lot of Samoan communities and understanding what the experience has been like. I'd like to welcome Adel Fruean. How are you today?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. Talo falava, everyone. I'm Adel Fruean here in Samoa. Welcome to our country.
It's good to be here. How has your week been?
Oh, it's been very busy, I would say. Busier than usual, really. But overall, it's been once in a lifetime experience for myself as a local journalist here in Samoa. I feel very humbled as well.
That's good.
It's happening in my country. 56 nations all together gathering in Samoa. It's a big deal for us, our people. It's historical at the same time. Why? Because the monarchs are here from 3 different nations. So yes, it's important that we welcome them the Samoan way. And not just them, the delegations that are all in Samoa. So we all feel humbled, I would say.
I definitely feel humbled as well. That's awesome. So there's a lot of people who don't even understand what CHOGM is. Could you explain to us what it is?
Yes, that's correct. Well, some will say Commonwealth, in so many ways, but they don't really understand what is Commonwealth. So Commonwealth is a voluntary association of 56 independent nations across the world, basically, and with 33 small island nations, well, including Samoa, of course, on member states. But overall, it's basically a voluntary organization, with a history, with having the British empire, with its involvement, basically, and how that has come to be. So for Samoa, a small island nation, and also other small island nations, it's a very significant platform or also association to be part of, to share our concerns and also the issues that our people are facing. So yes, the Commonwealth in itself, it's comprised of not just developed nations, but also our developing nations, such as Samoa. So yes.
Awesome. And why is it important for Samoa?
Amazing. Now, when we say why is it important for Samoa to be part of this, firstly, it's to amplify our voices. Really, it's to give us, a platform so we can reach so many, nations, so many, but not just that, it's the opportunities, in my perspective, as to why Samoa views this as so significant. We look at areas such as, the issues such as, development in terms of, how these nations and also us can come together to make decisions to help develop our nations. So it's also a key
So that'll be things
factor.
in like business, economy, climate change.
And so, but most of all, the issues of climate change, it's pretty much on top of the agenda, really. Our people hope that hosting this big meeting in Samoa will give, the delegations and people around the world coming here, a chance to see the impacts on our people, on our livelihoods mostly, and just to know that this is what we're going through. This is basically the reality Samoa's living in. So yes, it's very important for us. But not just that, it's not just for our leaders. It's not just, I have to, reiterate that it's not just for our leaders, but it's also a platform for the youth, not from Samoa, the women in Samoa, but also people altogether. Our local communities have forums. They can voice what they're going through, voice their concerns, but also have a platform that they can all come together to discuss solutions to these issues. So yes, it's very important to us.
So what kind of opportunities does this present for Samoa?
Amazing. For Samoa, of course, the first opportunity is we are being put on the map, basically. We are being exposed to the world, that we exist, basically. I mean, I would say most countries would not know that we exist, but with with Samoa hosting, now the world knows.
And I will double down on that because online, everything is CHOGM right now.
And everything is Samoa.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Beautiful, amazing.
You will go on, worldwide in terms of the media coverage. We are there. Samoa is being mentioned, worldwide because of such a significant event as this. So CHOGM has given Samoa that opportunity to come to Samoa. In terms of tourism, this will benefit our tourism industry greatly, and it has. The rooms have been fully booked. Nobody, there's like no empty rooms at the moment, and we've got, we've also given this opportunity for, not just the tourism industry, but the agricultural industry as well, in terms of trying to provide enough, food to cater for such a big event as this. But not just that. Benefits Samoa, our local communities, because for all of these delegations, they want to go visit the countries that some of the villages have been decorating for. I have to talk a bit more on that. So before everyone came here, 56 villages across Samoa, especially Ubolu,
Wow.
have been selected to, pick a country, and they've been assigned a country of the Commonwealth.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
They're all beautifully decorated. There's so
Decked
much
out in
effort.
flags, yes, decked out in flags, colours, everything. We've literally pretty much, put Samoa on the map basically because of this. So we're giving our people the opportunity to look, we're playing host, and that's very important to understand. And so we feel so much great pride, giving this experience to the visitors coming here. So we can say, look, you can come back and visit again. And so that's important to our people. These are once in a lifetime opportunities, and it's historical for Samoa as being first in the Pacific, a Pacific island nation to host such a big event as this one. So to us, it's important in the sense of history. We've made history because the king and queen are here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So,
we
yeah.
can't ignore that.
We can't ignore
that.
that.
But honestly, I'd have to say I've been so inspired being back home. Seeing the amount of effort each village, in the country that they're representing has gone all out. They're painting their houses, they're putting up murals and flags everywhere, and it's amazing. And I'm so glad I came for this trip because I've been able to see. I don't think this will happen again for a long time. Probably when another 20 years or who knows?
Hopefully.
Who knows? What are some other kind of personal positive experience that you've had while covering CHOGM?
Yeah, covering CHOGM, in my perspective, I think a positive experience for me is telling, for example, media colleagues from overseas, my country and how my culture works. For example, telling them, okay, this is how our Samoan people welcome guests. It's a whole process. Culturally, it's a whole process. You must know where to sit. You must know what to say. You must know, how things work culturally, and that's very important. To me, it's a positive experience in the sense where I get to show others my culture, show them, why we pride ourselves in our culture, and our people as well. But most importantly, it's showing them of, this is our home, welcome to our home and all that. And so I always feel great pride knowing that, they are coming here for the first time. And so they're, in some way they are lost. Yeah. So I always have to guide everyone and say, look, this is how this is done. This is our people. This is what happens here. You look, our people, while we have so much pride in welcoming our guests, you also have to respect our culture. That is also something that very important that they must understand. But overall, with this experience, it's been positive in the sense where, they are coming to our home. And so we are giving them, an experience they will not forget. The island way, I would say.
And there's a lot of people outside of Samoa who are thinking, we're just rolling out red carpets for them. But in my perspective, Samoa has stood strong on their cultural processes. So as these delegates arrive, they've been able to say, this is how we do it, and we're going to do it this way. So different perception that's being received overseas. How about the challenges? What about the challenges?
Okay, challenges, yes, with anything that happens, there's always challenges. But in our side, we have to we have to go with the flow basically, and and use challenges as like as a learning experience really, for us. But now on my end, challenges has been in the sense where there's so many people now. It's been so overcrowded where we go, and now we're looking at thousands of people, 6,000 people. You're looking at more than that in Samoa. So for us, it's a lot to take in. But with everything basically, we're looking at trying to cater to that need and demand, because it goes across all board in Samoa. We have to make sure that everything is done properly. We have to make sure that and nothing goes not as planned but smoothly. But overall, the challenges in my end would have to be trying to not only do it the Samoan way, but also have to cater to that need and demand that they also have for our country and stuff like that. So it's more like a balance really of how we have to, with anything that happens, we have to cater to that need.
Yes.
But both the Samoan way and also trying to see how we can cooperate to pretty much any issue that we face basically. So yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful. Working together with people, right?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of criticism from Samoans overseas, or even people who are not Samoans from overseas, why King Charles III is here, and they feel like Samoa is giving him too much of a platform, giving him too much respect. What are your thoughts on this?
I speak in my capacity as a Samoan, but not just as a Samoan, but as a Samoan living in Samoa. In my perspective, the first thing I consider in situations like this is, firstly, our country is playing host. Now, as a host nation, and just like in the Samoan culture, when we host guests, it's a big deal to us. It's a big deal to us. Firstly, we must understand that there has to be great respect to the visitors who will be coming, regardless who it may be. And respect is something that we must all have, but not just that. In our culture, respect is something very important, but also putting into consideration, these people are very important people. They too come with great prestige. They too come with their own titles. And, with the king and queen being here, for Samoa and myself, it's a great honor. It's a great honor that we have the king and queen. They bring great significance in the sense of it's historical in my perspective for our country to have them visit, because it is. And these are the sort of stories that we will be telling the world, or telling our own future generations. Look, we were here when the king and queen came. And and so in my perspective, it's more on the sense respect comes in. It's more in the sense where you're playing host, and the government has always advocated for this sense. We are host. We have to show them this is the Samoan way. We welcome them.
What about the king's colonial past and his history with colonization?
Amazing. Now, yes, with Commonwealth, there's always that connection to colonialism. Why? Because the Commonwealth in itself has roots with the British Empire, and all that. So it's always important to note that that's history. In my perspective, that is the history. But right now, we also have to understand that we, Samoans, and myself as well, we are living in an independent and free nation. That is something I want to reiterate, in my perspective of this situation and the criticism. Samoa is free. Our people are free. So that is something very significant to us. So in cases like this, in my perspective, it's more of like we are trying to build a better future for our people and for the future generations, basically. And so corporations and also platforms and meetings this grand and this prestige, it's a platform for us, but it's more of like a chance for Samoa to voice, but not just that, voice what we are going through, voice the realities our people are going through, but not just that. It's an opportunity for Samoa to learn to grow its economies, to grow the economy, its trade, and all these aspects that it matters to Samoa as a developing nation as well. We are trying to make progress. And I also have to highlight what our Prime Minister said earlier this week during the opening, on Monday. She said, we are united by history, and that is true. We are united by history. But what she believes is we must come together to be driven for a better future, not just for us, but of the future of Samoa, our people who will grow and make this country better in the future. So in my perspective, it's more of, yes, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I have to say that is correct. But, with all of us, you also have to take into consideration the fact that if we are entitled to all our opinions, we also have to be entitled to respecting each other's opinion, and that is something that is really deeply rooted in
Exactly.
us as Samoans. We respect others and say, look, if that is your opinion, okay, that is yours, and we respect that. But in the sense of where hatred comes in, and that becomes very toxic in my perspective. So instead of using that toxicity, promoting it, why not use that to promote our country? We're trying to promote our country overall, and I believe strongly that this is a platform for Samoa to shine, basically. So, yeah.
Exactly. I think that's a really good way that you put it. It's looking into being hopeful and not forget the past, but understand it to make us better for what's to come for us. And I think that's beautiful. So just my last question to you, Adel. There's a lot of people overseas who want to reconnect and they're passionate about Samoan culture and learning their roots, but it's hard for them to figure out how to do that. What would your word of advice be for those Samoans who are wanting to reconnect back with their homeland?
In my perspective, or my advice would be, firstly, come home. Come home. The best way to learn is to actually experience other culture, being here, knowing how things are done. And not just that, it's also important for you to come and understand the realities our people locally, are facing with, the issues, the challenges we are all facing with. But not just that, it's not just always about the challenges, it's also about celebrating what we have to offer to the world. And not just that, our families all together, our Samoan people, learning the culture. The best way to do it, come to Samoa. The best way to do it is to reconnect with families. The best way to do it is to speak to the chiefs here. We our chiefs, they have so much pride in our culture, and with that they are open to telling the younger generation, this is how things are done. This is how our ancestors came about. This is basically how we came about, and you must, and I think the most important advice for me is you must understand where you come from, your roots, your history, what your family went through, and coming back to the islands is, in my perspective, very significant and will open doors basically. If language barrier is something as to why most our people don't want to come down, they're scared. But you will never, in my perspective, you will never learn if you don't try. Just come here, and because English is the second language in Samoa, you're bound to find somebody who speaks English and can translate for you. And in every family, I assume that also that's that's what the reality is. But most importantly, in my perspective, our country is unique on its own, culturally, people, language, traditions, everything. And to have that pride in us, that this is our identity basically. So if you feel great, if you feel that passion in you that you want to reconnect with your culture, your people and families, just come home.
I love that one. I love that. Remember, guys, come home, experience the beautiful Samoa. You will learn here faster than anywhere else. But thank you so much, Adel, for coming onto the show and also sharing your wealth of experience that you had with CHOGM. And I wish you all the best. And hopefully more Samoans overseas will be coming back home to learn and connect with their culture and roots.
Yes, thank you. Come home.
Awesome. Breaking waves.